So I discovered I had a eye condition called keratoconus, and it affects your vision, obviously, and it's about the shape of your cornea. So I had gone to Johns Hopkins, and I had spent tons of money seeing all these specialists and different eye physicians, and finally my optometrist said, "Hey, why don't you go see this really talented doctor, Dr. Jonathan Solomon?" So I came. He did my diagnosis, and he just was really, really caring. And it was obvious that he wanted what was best for me and not necessarily just to, you know, do something that wasn't going to work for me. And so I came, and then about a year later, I came back because I was afraid to do what he wanted to do. And they took baby steps with me, and we finally got surgery done in both eyes. So now my eyes belong to the team. It's almost like, it's not that you can't see, but what you see is so severely distorted. It's blinding almost. So like to drive at night, even to just stand and see people like this, there will be a halo around anyone that I was seeing. Definitely trying to drive, it's almost like you lose all of your depth and just your visual acuity, period, is gone. You know, you don't know if cars that are coming this way, like, hey, is that really a car? How close is it? All of those things. So it's really debilitating. And because it's degenerative, it's like, well, when is this going to stop? Am I going to go blind? Or then it's hereditary. So it's like, am I going to give this to my kid? All of those types of things. So it's pretty astounding when you think about, I've been able to see fairly well up until you're about 25, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. And then you're like, wait, am I going to wake up one day and I can't see at all? So I was diagnosed when I was 25, and basically they said, oh, you're just going to go and get some hard contacts. And they fitted me for them. I spent thousands of dollars, and I was like, I still can't see. And there wasn't a lot of follow-up. Like I said, where I went out in Baltimore is just like, we're done. We got your check and have a nice life. And so I'd probably say I had gone back to like maybe at least 5 other optometrists and doctors and specialists before I came here. And that was over the course of about 9 years. So it took a lot to get here, a lot of research on my part, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of prayers. And yeah, like from day one when I came to the team, it was just like, how can we help? What can we do? And they sort of embraced me, and it was almost therapeutic because they took their time to really explain what options were available, how I would be affected, what the next step was if it didn't work, and what the next step was if that didn't work. You know, it gave me a lot of options and a lot of support. At least twice there were tears. Like when I first came, I boo-hooed, and they were like, you know, it wasn't, I didn't feel pitied and I didn't feel ashamed. I felt more like supported and more, we're here to help. We got you. We're going to figure this out with you. We're not going to just do something to you. We're going to work with you, and we're going to work together. This is a team effort. So today it's actually sort of on the rise. Like there are still things that I need to have done, or things that I need to get. It's not necessarily a medical thing that needs to happen, or any more surgery or anything, but I have to get some pretty cool high-tech contact lenses. But the vision is improved, and now it's not about, oh, wow, it's severely distorted. Now it's more about, how can I just make things bigger? You know, so it's a lot different. It's not perfect, but I think over time, the expectation is that it will continue to improve. And once I get the right refraction and some of the right glasses or contact lenses, whatever we decide, it'll be better. I'm not petrified to drive anymore. I'm not petrified of, you know, when I see someone, like, did I really see the person I think I saw? You know, I'm not seeing blurs and blobs of people passing by. I'm actually saying, oh, that's my mother. Oh, that's my good friend, such and such. So yeah, it's much better. It's much better. Like I said, the biggest thing that was really scary for me was just things you take for granted, like just driving or going to my son's, going to, you know, anything that my son was doing, like, oh gosh, we gotta get there early so we can sit right up front because I'm not gonna be able to see him sing or dance or perform or whatever it is that he was doing. And you just feel like, you know, I'm missing things. And so after I had the surgery, one of the things that was sort of really gratifying was a couple of weeks later, I kind of went outside and I was like, I'm not struggling to I'm not struggling to realize what I can't see. I'm actually realizing what I can see that I couldn't before. So like street signs, just riding past, like, oh, that's what that sign is. It's just mind blowing to be like, oh, I can see that thing. It's not perfect, but it's not a blur either. So that was really cool. Definitely research. Before, like I said, it took me a year even to be comfortable enough to do the actual intact surgery that I had. And so I just did a lot of research. I did a lot of online research, looking overseas at some of the before and afters that folks had done, and just listening to podcasts and video casts of people just sharing their experiences, much like this. Very, very helpful. There are a bunch of support groups nationally and globally. I didn't necessarily get involved with them, but I would go to those websites and kind of just read what people were doing, what people's, like I said, what people's experiences were, and just soaked up all the information that I could. And that was really helpful for me to become more and more comfortable with such what felt like at the time such a daunting procedure. And then more or less talking to the folks here and just building a rapport with the staff here even before we got to surgery. You know, like I said, I came several times over the course of a year. All of the assistant team, you know, they got to know me by name. They contacted me and called me. Even the administrative folks who kind of, you know, do the billing and stuff, I had built a relationship with them. So really feeling covered on all ends, like really feeling cared for on all ends. Very, very helpful in helping to provide some soothe and calm around all of the anxiousness you feel before making this decision. I was prepared to, like, what I was reading was that this was something that was done more or less in, like, in Europe. So I was kind of like, okay, now we need to start figuring out who the surgeons and the physicians and the medical folks that are specialists at this are in Europe. You know, that was sort of the next thing. And like I said, my optometrist was like, well, wait. She's like, there is a top-notch specialist right here, 5 miles from your house. Like, that's where you need to go. And like I said, I had done the hard contact lenses years ago. It feels like you have glass in your eye and you still can't see. Even when you have them on and they're, you know, properly customized and fitted for your eye, you still can't see. So to have options just locally was godsend. Having that awareness of, like, at some point this might not end or it might get worse was a constant, like, how do you prepare for that day when there's nothing that you can do? So now it's more about, it's just like the possibilities. There are more possibilities for me. And so, like I said, it's really taken my level of anxiousness, like, way down. It's just giving me a sense of calm and peace. Like, you know, we have at least 10 other things we can do to continually improve this. And so it's really just opened up my mind to say, you know, this is not the end. This is not the end state for you. You know, there are other options. There are other things that can be done to help this. And I think that's important for anyone that has a similar condition to know. Like, it doesn't have to be the end of the world for you. It doesn't have to be like a closed case. You're never going to be able to see, because that's truly how I felt. Like, there's nothing that's going to fix this. Trust yourself. You know, for a long time I just kept saying, oh, I just need glasses. You know, I had a slight astigmatism, and it's like, well, you've had 30 different prescriptions. None of those work. You know, don't let it go too far, because, like I said, like, driving is a huge thing. Like, you take it for granted, but there are many times that I'm like, dang, like, how did I get home? You know, you worry about the drunk driver or the person that's under the influence. What about the person who just legit can't see? You know, so things like that, I would say to anyone who has this condition, don't let it prolong. You know, there are options available. Research, get the support that you need, get diagnosed, you know, and don't be afraid of the diagnosis. Once you got it, don't sit with it. Start to think about, what can I do? What's available to me to kind of correct this? Oh, he's really cool. He has great bedside manner. You know, he really put me and my family at ease. He welcomed, like, I'm 36 years old. He let my mom come in, my dad come in. You know, and he talked to all of us as a family. And he actually talked about the importance of having that familial support system. Because, like I said, I kind of broke down like a baby over the course of all of this. So just to have him not kind of judge and pity me, but to really be like, I got you, I understand, and I'll never forget, we sat in the visit room, and what he said to me is, "Those are my eyes now," and I believed him. You know, it was believable. It was, I'm about to cry. It was really, you know, you just immediately felt a connection and felt really, really supported. And I noticed that it wasn't just like that with me. You know, when we left out, my mom felt the same way, my dad felt the same way, and you know, he's probably the most passive and, you know, least impressed person by anything, and he was really impressed. So for me, it was just like, and it didn't stop at Dr. Solomon. It was literally everyone on staff that we encountered. It was the same deal. You felt like they welcomed you into their family.